A family is allowing me to come into their home during a pretty intimate, special time in their life together. And I don't want to add stress to that. That is the last thing I would want to do. Hey guys, my name is Emma, and I've been a photographer for over 15 years. And today I thought I would talk to you a little bit more about newborn photography. Now, if you saw my last video, it was all about my simple approach to newborn photography. So today I thought that we would zero in specifically on how I prepare my clients for a newborn photo session. So let's dive in. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I like to communicate with my clients from the very beginning as soon as they reach out to me about newborn photos about my process. I always tell them that I am a lifestyle in-home newborn photographer. So that means I'm not going to do a studio setup. I'm not going to do crazy posing. It's going to be pretty simple and it's going to feel very intimate. So if someone doesn't want to have me in their home, then that's totally fine. We could do an outdoor session, or they might just find another photographer, and that is no big deal. I think that is the beauty of people having different styles and different approaches to their photography. But when it comes to a lifestyle newborn session that is photographed in the client's home, I think it's really important to prepare your client on what to expect and how to make the session overall a better success. So the bulk of this video is actually just going to be talking about one email, which is my newborn prep email. It is basically all that I do to prepare my clients, and it works great. Obviously, there was some trial and error in figuring out what were the best things to mention, what things needed to be left out, and after a few years, I feel like I dialed it into what was most important. So let's go through that. So a lot of people normally ask, like, how do you find the light in our house? Do we need to have any props? What props do you want? How do we need to prepare? And if I send them this email, it helps them have peace of mind. It helps them prepare for the session. But hopefully, more than anything, it takes a lot of weight off of their shoulders and know that they actually don't have to do a lot for the session to be successful. So the first thing I tell them is don't feel like you have to clean your entire house. They don't have to clean at all. Most people, I think, like to have the nursery tidy, but normally with newborns, the nursery has probably not been touched yet because the newborns stay pretty close to mom and dad in those first couple weeks. Which I should mention, I do all of my newborn sessions in the first 2 weeks of the baby's life, if at all possible, because it's just a little bit easier to pose them. And so it's very early in the process. They might have never had a baby before, so it's just a very new thing to them, and I don't want to add stress by telling them to clean their house. Also, it's not necessary. Normally, we'll end up using like 1 or 2 spots in the house, and those will be our prime locations for really good light, and so they don't need to clean their whole house. And as I mentioned previously, I do tell them that they should treat me like I'm family, so don't feel like your house has to be spick and span for your photographer. We don't care. We don't need a lot to work with. We just need like a little bit of space and a little bit of light. We need you to feel comfortable being your own people and not feeling stressed that you have a guest coming over. Now, since I do have a more lifestyle approach to my newborn photography, I depend on my clients to provide props should they want them. I don't think that they're a requirement, but it's not uncommon to show up and families might have like a special little outfit that was a gift from grandma, or maybe an heirloom, or just something cute that they want their baby to wear. So we're definitely going to use that outfit if the baby cooperates for the period of the session. They also might have heirloom quilts or just other special things they want to incorporate. And so I always let them know that if they have those kinds of things, to please set them out and let me know how much of a priority they are in case the baby gets really fussy and doesn't want to have their picture taken anymore. We will cut things off if the baby just needs to be done, and that's okay to me, but I always make sure to say, like, how important is this heirloom blanket? How important is this hat? And then we'll kind of gauge it from there. Most of the time we're able to squeeze in all of the cute outfits, all of the important things, but it's definitely something that I think everyone is pretty flexible with because we know they're babies and they don't really love having their clothes changed a lot. And so we roll with it. But having the families know that I'm going to want those things is super helpful. Another thing I ask parents to do is to get any neutral colored blankets they might have. Ideally, it would be a big white fluffy blanket. I like the look of that. I think it's really pretty. It's really bright and clean, and it makes for a good first portrait of their newborn. But if they don't have that, I say get any other neutral colored blanket. It will work. It's not a big deal. I was at a session recently where a family used just a shag blanket and it worked so good. It worked perfectly. I want to buy one on Amazon now and bring it along because it looked so good. It was a great photo prop. So I always tell people to provide those if they have them. Also, I ask them to bring out any swaddles they have. The more neutral they are, the better, because they're not distracting. I always like to let the focus be on the baby and what I'm photographing. So if it's a crazy print, I try to avoid that because I want the focus to be on the baby, like I said. But it's also not a big deal because if they really love it, fine. We'll do a picture in that. It's no big deal. It's also their photos. It's not my photos. So I like to meet in the middle and find this happy medium between what I think is good to provide for my clients and what my clients just want from their photographer from the session. And that is totally okay. Now, it's not uncommon for newborn photographers to request that families bump the heat up in their house to 80 degrees so that the babies sleep really well. But I found that it makes everyone really uncomfortable. It makes everyone super hot, and the family knows what temperature to set their thermostat to, that they're all comfortable, and I'd rather everyone just be comfy and not be sweating through their clothes. So I actually don't ask people to do that. It's just, I'd rather everyone just be comfortable than be super hot because they want the baby to sleep. Most of the time, they can get the baby to sleep, even if it's not 80 degrees in the house. The last thing that I like to do to prep my parents is I let them know that I want to leave space for them to feed and take care of their baby. It's not uncommon to ask parents hey, have your baby fed and changed by the time I get there? But newborns can be really unpredictable. They just entered the world, and so you don't know when they're gonna eat, when they're gonna potty, when they're going to need anything, when they just wanna cuddle. We don't know that. And so I don't ask my parents to have those things taken care of before I get there. I don't wanna put that pressure on them. Instead, I say, hey, if you need to feed your baby, feed your baby. It's no big deal. If you need to do anything, just take care of it. Don't put the pressure on yourself for your baby to behave robotically while I'm there. I don't expect that, and I don't want that. It might seem like a lot to prepare families for newborn sessions like this, and honestly, I could walk into a session and do photos just fine. I could not prepare parents, and everything would go great because I've done this for a long time and I know how to take control of the situation. However, I don't want the parents to be stressed out. The calmer they are, the better the photos overall are going to go. So if they aren't asking questions what is she gonna do when she gets here? Is she gonna need anything? Are we gonna need to move anything? I don't want them to be worried about that. I want to prepare them for that ahead of time. And so the more I can communicate that, the calmer they will probably be at the photo session. And that to me is one of the most important things. A family is allowing me to come into their home during a pretty intimate, special time in their life together. And I don't want to add stress to that. That is the last thing I would want to do. I want to just bring joy to that situation and hopefully make it as smooth as possible. So guys, that's basically what I do to prepare my families for newborn photos. It's super simple. I have it all in a template email and I send it to them when the time comes. It has made things work so well for me in the past and going into the future. It's something that I might tweak from time to time and try to adjust a little bit according to what I think might work better. But overall, it's just a simple email that I send out with all of the information that I detailed in this video. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below. And if you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, good luck getting out there taking photos. I hope this helps you on your future newborn sessions. Have a good one.